Good morning, 6 o'clock on your Tuesday morning. We're so happy that you're starting your day with us. And what I like about you, Julia, and what I like about you, Chuck, is that you're back.
But I actually came into work this morning.
This is the first time the three of us have been together in,
Long
what,
time.
3 years?
Yes.
Probably. Kind of feels
Been a
like
minute
that.
there,
Yeah,
yes.
well, I feel like I can get right back on this horse, I think.
Well,
so.
good.
Nice to be back. Glad you're waking up with us here at 6 o'clock on your Tuesdays. We give you that beautiful shot of downtown Indianapolis this morning. And we've had beautiful weather, really.
Yeah.
I know we start out a little chilly, which is kind of typical this time of year.
Yeah, you can see that flag blowing atop the One America building there. And yeah, it's going to be a little bit of a chilly. You said cold, so I'm going to go with that because
Hey,
Chuck rarely ever calls it cold.
I very rarely call it cold. I just got cold this morning, and I was watching Sia this morning. She's got a scarf on.
She does,
So, hey, that's probably not a bad idea. We want to begin with the latest on Milton at 6 o'clock. Hurricane Milton, if you just joined us, I know some of you are getting up during the course of this TV show. At 5 o'clock this morning, it stayed the same. A Category 4, 155 miles per hour. This is the Yucatan Peninsula. This is Cancun, and that's the eye of that storm. Now, this is going to gain strength. At about 2 o'clock today, it will go up to a 5 as it's in this warm water. Then we believe at 2 o'clock on Thursday morning should reach landfall as a Category 3. You could see these strong winds that will be built around this. So here's 2 a.m. Thursday in between Tampa and Sarasota. This will track along the peninsula as a Category 1 as it reaches Orlando. So this is going to be a very strong storm. Storm surge, yes. Lightning, heavy rain, yes, and the possibility of tornadoes. This is what we're expecting is an area that could see tornadoes Wednesday night. That's tomorrow night ahead of that storm, anywhere from Gainesville all the way down to Key West, and that's almost all of Florida. So that's Florida. How about us? What a different picture. It is cold outside. 46 in Indy, 39 degrees over in Zionsville, 36 degrees in Crawfordsville, and 37 in Lafayette this morning. As we go through the day today, if you're headed to the airport, temperatures in the 40s. We have cancellations this morning at Tampa, Orlando, and Fort Myers. The Tampa and Orlando airports will be closed, and then later today for us, a high of 72. So we've had a very busy day at the airport and on the interstates too, especially with this crash, right?
That's right. Yeah, we are still following this on the west side. This is 465 northbound, just north of 38th Street. Several vehicles involved in this crash, and it's still blocking at least 3 travel lanes as well as that emergency shoulder lane as well. So this is creating quite the backup coming northbound on 465. This is the camera at 38th Street looking north, and you can see that stop and go traffic continuing to build. It is approaching that I-65 junction at this point. So as far as your delay tracker goes, continuing to grow as we speak. From I-70 to I-65, we're looking at a 20-minute delay up the west side of town on I-465 northbound.
Thank you, Lindsay. Well, this morning, police are asking for the public's help as they try to piece together what happened at a youth football as he was shot in front of his players over the weekend.
That coach was one of 2 men shot after a game on Indy's northwest side. Sia New Yorker is following the latest on this story downtown. Good morning, Sia.
Good morning, Julia. Good morning, Julia. At last check, one of the victims was listed in the hospital as critical and the other one was stable. All of this as IMPD detectives try to get people to come forward with who all was involved. Now take a look. On Saturday night at Gardner-Riddle High School, where 2 D1 Nation youth football teams were matched up for a playoff game. However, it is important to note the teams don't have a connection to the school. The players were 11 years old and younger. The owner and coach of the Indy Firehawks tells 13 News a fight broke out on the sidelines and one of his assistants, Trayvon Smith, was shot in the leg. Now, parents told us it was chaos and they feared for their lives as well as their children. Police now say it is possible that there were multiple guns.
A tragic incident where children, families had to witness just a egregious act with firearms. It should have never taken place in a large crowd, and that should never be how we resolve issues.
Police are now asking people to come forward if you know something or saw something. They'd like to hear from you. It is also important to note that Cardinal Ritter has revoked access to that field for the time being. Reporting in downtown Indy, Sia New Yorker, 13 News.
Thank you, Sia. This morning, we're working to find out if the victim shot on Indy's north side is still in critical condition. The shooting was yesterday afternoon near 38th and North Meridian Streets. Officers tell 13 News they believe they detained the person that's responsible for the shooting. We have reached back out to police about any information on how this shooting or why this shooting unfolded, or even if they have any arrests. We'll pass along that new info as it becomes available.
This morning, an IMPD officer is on administrative leave after being arrested while off duty. James Cox is charged with driving under the influence with a child in his car. Officers say they saw a speeding car on Southeastern Avenue swerve into traffic just after 2 o'clock Sunday morning. The officer pulled over that car, finding Cox in the driver's seat with his child, who is under 18, in the car as well. The Metro Police Chief released a statement saying, quote, "This incident is deeply troubling and does not reflect the high standards we uphold ourselves to at IMPD." And this morning, the Atlanta Town Council has officially placed its utility superintendent and building commissioner on administrative leave. It's meeting, the first one since state police launched an investigation into Andy Emmert.
Last night's meeting lasted only about 10 minutes. The council did not offer any further insight into why state police are investigating this official.
So here is what we have learned. Last week, state police searched Emmert's home and a few town buildings. They loaded 2 different classic cars of Emmert's property.
But I do feel confident that business can, the needs of the town will continue to get filled based on what we've just done here.
And we learned leaders in the nearby town of Arcadia have agreed to help with operating Atlanta's water and sewer plants in Emmert's absence. They also appointed an interim building commissioner.
Now, the town itself is not a target of this investigation, and Emerson right now is not under arrest at this time. And we now have an update this morning about the city's budget for next year. Councilors have approved the $1.6 billion budget.
But not everyone on the Indianapolis Council is happy about this. Our Matthew Fultz is live this morning with more on how this budget could be impacting you. Good morning, Matthew.
Yeah, good morning to you both. This budget was actually met with some unusual pushback. We're talking about 9 councilors actually voted against approving this budget. However, 16 of the councilors on the board actually approved the budget last night. The mayor's budget actually aims to put a big focus on public safety, with the largest amount of money being dedicated to IMPD at $338 million. Indy DPW will also be getting $246 million, which is actually a 7% increase from last year. And that was actually the sticking point for some councilors who say they now worry if that's enough money to get the job done. Last month, Councilor Josh Bain actually introduced an amendment to reallocate funds to improve roads and bridges throughout the city. However, it actually failed in committee. It was now one of the reasons that all 6 Republicans said they voted against the budget this year, which again hasn't been done in several years. Meanwhile, Mayor Joe Hogsett issued a statement last night following the passing of the budget. It reads, quote, "This 2025 budget shows our support for our employees and the important work that they do each and every day to serve residents, as well as continue to fund successful city programs that we know make Indianapolis a better, safer place for all." Now, meanwhile, coming up at 6 a.m., you'll hear more from the Black Church Coalition and some of the reasons they weren't happy about this year's budget. Jalea and Julia will break that down coming up.
All right, thanks so much, Matthew.
Well, the council also signed off on a proposal aimed at ending street takeovers in the city, but they did make some changes to it. So here's what it will do now. Anyone involved in these spinning incidents would face up to a $1,000 fine. That's if it's a first offense. It goes up to $2,500 if the person violates that ordinance again. And the cars that were used in these events could be impounded for at least 30 days.
And new this morning, the chief of IMPD released a statement on X. Chief Chris Bailey saying passage of the proposal shows the collaborative effort between IMPD, the mayor, city leaders, and councilors to address an urgent issue affecting officers, drivers, and neighbors alike. Coming up on 610, we're now less than a week away from the beginning of the Delphi murders trial. Jury selection begins next Monday.
It's come 7.5 years after someone killed Abby Williams and Libby German in Carroll County. Richard Allen is accused in their deaths. He's been locked up for 2 years now, waiting for his day in court.
And now a possible key witness for the defense is facing his own legal troubles. Todd Click is a former Rushville police officer and was part of the Delphi investigation.
Well, now he's facing felony misconduct charges related to his work as a Department of Child Services case manager. Investigators say he lied about visiting victims and families and forged his signature on paperwork. In the Delphi case, Click has repeatedly said that he and 2 other investigators strongly believed at least 3 people were involved in the murders.
So it is unclear what, if any, impact this will have on the case and the defense plans during the trial.
We know a lot has happened in the past 7 years, from the girl's disappearance on that February day to Richard Allen's arrest 2 years ago. Friday at 6:30 p.m. on WTHR+, our Delphi Murders special will catch you up on the major moments in the case ahead of that trial start.
Well, drivers, we have some important information. INDOT announcing plans to close a very busy stretch of I-65 in downtown Indianapolis. These closures will begin October 18th, so this month. The southbound lanes between West Street and Alabama Street will close for bridge repairs. Drivers will also notice several ramp closures during the 16-day stretch. Those exits are 38th Street, MLK, Meridian Street, Michigan Street, and I-65 southbound to I-70 east and west. So pretty much all the important ones if you're trying to get into downtown. If you'd also like a look at some of those detour information routes they're suggesting, we have those posted for you right now at WTHR.com/SeenOn13. You can also scan the QR code you see right here.
Well, while the southeast is still picking up the pieces from Hurricane Helene, this different kind of storm that FEMA didn't see coming at 6:45.